Good evening, how are we all doing? David Sutcliffe, Mark Central, Paul, Mark Devlin, the mighty Richard Shears, Tim Wright, Mark Fixes Stuff, Costado himself, representing the Netherlands. Good to see you all, guys. Ben Rattigan, Geronimo Let's Play, hello everyone. We'll get started at 6. Hi Laura, hi John. So charge your glasses, prepare your Turkish delights. No standing on the waltzers. If you fancy it, take a moment to hit that like button. We'll try and tickle the YouTube algorithm, see who we can get interested to come and watch. Hello Mac84, hello Bazza. Right, this just won't do. We're not starting this stream until we've had this banger of a tune. Hold on.
Turkish delight, full of Eastern promise.
Turkish delight. I do. A lot of people don't like Turkish delight. I mean Fry's Turkish delight, the type with the chocolate on it and the purple wrapper. But I like it. A lot of people say, oh, Turkish delight, that's disgusting. How can you eat that? It's like eating perfume. It's like eating old woman's perfume. Like lavender water or rose water or whatever it is. How can you like that? I like it. I like Turkish delight. I don't like it enough to get it every day or every week. In fact, I can't remember the last time I got a Turkish delight. But every now and then, I'll be in a shop and I'll walk past the shelves with all the chocolate and I'll see a Turkish delight and I'll get it. It's nice. I like it. I like Turkish delight.
Sing along now if you like, you know the words.
Da
65% of you like Turkish Delight so far. I mean, we should probably start the stream, really. Are we ready? Right. Gary's ready. It's too weird for Keith. It's too weird. Okay, Keith, we'll get into the... Before he sings anymore, let's go into the stream. Oh, I'm a ghost. We're off to a good start. How are we all doing, everyone? I'm going to fix my ghost issue here. Where am I? It's because I was raving as a ghost. There he is. He's back. Yeah. How are we doing, everyone? Let me know how the audio is. I think the music's okay, but we should always start off. The first check is I'm not muted. I think I'm not muted, so that's a good start. I'm visibly muted, am I? Let's make sure I've got the chat. So the final scores were 60% of you said Turkish delight, good, yum yum. And 39.3% of you said disgusting. 56 votes. Oh, I am definitely in the disgusting camp on the old Turkish delight, I'm afraid. Jarmel says can't hear you. Am I too quiet? I can knock the mic up. Is that better for you? How's that sounding? We always have mic issues. It's part of the stream. You're trolling me, are you? It never gets old. I'll knock that down a bit then. Got me on the big telly. Thank you, Reese. Laura, have you got your breakfast sorted? So, thank you everyone for joining. I'm all over the place here. This is the first live stream from the new cave. I haven't quite got to the point of having that permanent live stream set up where I can just jump on. So I've had the usual quick plug everything in, check everything's working. We might be a bit all over the place tonight, but we'll get through it together. What have we got in store for you today? We have got viewers' videos on the topic of excitement during lockdown. What retro stuff has got you excited? We've got about 12 videos, 90-second videos to go through and react to. Sorry, the air horn isn't working today, Dave. And well done, Dave, on finishing work on time. We've got patrons' questions to Trip Hawkins, the founder of Electronic Arts and the 3DO company. I spoke to him for a good 2 hours. In fact, we ran out of time. He had to go. You can imagine how busy a man Trip Hawkins is. But we managed to squeeze in some of the patrons' questions. So we'll be listening to those answers and I'll get the full video interview edited up for you next week. We don't have unboxings because an unboxing video went out on the main channel this month because I had so much stuff. And it was actually a really popular video. So I think the unboxings might go back to edited videos in future. We'll see. So in lieu of unboxings, we're going to try something this month called Get in the Bin.
Oh, just get in the bin.
Anyone recognise that voice? Hopefully you heard it.
Oh, just get in the bin.
So Get in the Bin is a feature that we're going to try with. It's going to involve people dialing in live, 2 people dialing in live. I won't spoil it for you, but there's potential for everything to go wrong. Yeah, it's Dean. Well done. It's Mean Machine Dean. We'll check out some magazines. You know, so really all that's changed is the unboxings. How are we all doing in the chat? Oh, good to see Amigos are here. Is that Aaron? Is that Boat? Who is it? Alan Partridge. Unboxings are easy content. Well, you say that, Custado. I managed to make everything, you know, difficult. But unboxings are really enjoyable to make. Hello, Spooky Noki. So let's go, I think, straight into viewers' videos. Oh, no. What we normally do is we look at what we've done on the channel this month. So let's go over to the laptop. Here we are. Right, make sure I'm using the right keyboard. Let's make sure you're not watching me log into my YouTube, first of all. David likes a good unboxing. Good evening, David Corbett. Good evening, Jamie Morgan Just Games. Good to see you. Should have had this open and ready, really. My channel. Do you know what? We'll switch to incognito browsing as well. Here we go, right. So it's been a good month in the cave. We've ticked over 124,000 subscribers, which is nice. For some of the YouTubers out there who are watching this, people like Reese, I know Custado does a bit of YouTubing, Morgan Just Games. January is traditionally quite a quiet month, and it's not helped by the fact that I didn't put a video out proper for 3 weeks over the Christmas period. I got some videos out for the patrons, but it was very quiet because of the whole cave move that was going on. There was so much work to go on, and I managed to grab a week off. So when you do that, you lose the momentum of the YouTube algorithm. I mean, there's no science behind it. Nobody really knows how it works. But if you stop like that, things grind to a halt pretty quickly. So it was good to get some videos out and to start to see things drag themselves up once again. But what we got out this month was... I guess really it was from this one, your first look at the cave. So we had a look around the cave, and it's already changed so much since we moved in here. Can I enable my web camera and give you a quick look around? I think I can. Bear with. There we go. There's a low quality web camera. So you can see there is stuff all over the place down there. You can see the scale of the place is ridiculous. For those of you who saw me making tables, I've got 6 made now. Just need to varnish a couple, and then we'll make... I've got 2 sanded, 2 more to sand, and then we'll have all the tables made up, ready. But the big thing was the wall over here. The colours, this camera really isn't doing that wall justice. I need to get some varnish on it. I've got some varnish which is dead flat, so it shouldn't give us any kind of sheen on the wall. And the studio's looking great behind me. So even though I gave you that first look at the cave a month ago, let's kill the webcam. We've done so much already. It's really coming along nicely. Yeah, the far wall is built, but I need to clad it in something. And we talked about turning that far wall into a shop front. But actually, I think if I bring it forward anymore, the more I think about it, the more it's going to encroach on the exhibition space. I still haven't decided what to do. Yeah, it's like an OnlyFans video, Paul. Deeper into the cave. renovating my cave. That's right, Pixels at Dawn. So it was nice to see so many people were interested in that. And actually, I said, do you want more of these videos? And everyone said, yeah, we want to see the refurb videos. We want to see the cave coming together. So I'll start doing another one of those next week. And yeah, you can continue to watch the cave grow and develop. Then we did the unofficial, the official Macintosh clones. 46,000 views. That's a good view number for a fairly niche subject. And it was helped greatly by, is he still in the chat? Is Steve still in the chat? Shout if you are. No, thank you. I don't want to sign into YouTube. There should be a link here so I can show you. Where is Mac? I should put that in the description, really. Mac84, is he in the chat? Yes, there he is. Hello, Steve. So this is Mac84's channel, and Steve was very kind and generous in the content he gave us to be a part of that episode. Gave us a really good insight into his collection. And when I first spoke to him, he had already made plans to do his own series of videos on the Mac clones. So I think they're up there now. He's been doing repairs. He puts an awful lot of content out. Look, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 4 days. This is daily stuff. The man is a machine. There we go. Part 1, the rise and fall of Macintosh clones. So well worth checking that out. If you enjoyed my video, Steve will go into a lot of details because he has an awful lot of the machines. He's got a huge collection, so he can take some really deep dives into the hardware. I am subscribed to you, by the way, Steve. I'm just incognito at the moment. In fact, let's put a link to that in the chat. I'm on the wrong machine. YouTube.com/Mac84. And then we did the cave building. Okay, the first look was just before Christmas, hence the Christmas jumper. So we did the cave building, we did the donations, lovely donations from you all. We'll have a look at one of the magazines today that were donated. And then coming up next week, we've got the Trip Hawkins interview and the first episode of a CDTV Trash to Treasure. Any CDTV owners out there? If so, I'm assuming you like it if you have one, because they're not cheap things to buy. They're quite, I don't want to use the word, but they're quite the investment. Tim Sanction says, yes, I know you've got one, yeah. Yeah, Matt's just got a CDTV. No. There's not many of them out there. Ian's got one. Pillick's got one. And the Trash to Treasure first episode, which is always, does it work? What's wrong with it? And a look at the history. It's pretty much edited up, but I might just hold on to it for until next Friday, because I've got an interview lined up with Gail Wellington, who worked at Commodore, and she was responsible for the software lineup for the launch of the CDTV. So I'd like to actually get a short interview with her done so I can have her as a talking head throughout the series. So rather than rushing out for next Thursday, the CDTV episode, I think I'll get that interview done and then I can just edit in a bit of the chat with her. It just makes the whole episode a bit more legitimate to have that insight from within Commodore, doesn't it? So what we'll do, excuse me. What we'll do is we'll get the Trip Hawkins video out next week, and then as soon as I've spoken to Gail, we'll get that out. I have reached out to some of the rest of the Commodore crew, so we might get some more talking heads, but we'll see. We'll see. So that's what's gone on. Yeah, CDTV coming up, and I've got a huge van booked for next Tuesday, and that will be the final push to get all of the kit over from the old cave, and then it's done and it's dusted. Empty old cave over. Bazza says, was the CDTV an A500 with a CD-ROM? Pretty much. Pretty much. There were a few differences. For example, Reese, you'll be pleased to know the CDTV has built-in MIDI ports. Put that in your Atari pipe. And yeah, as I get the final bits over from the old cave and get the lab set up, we'll be in a much better position to really start cranking out those trash to treasures and doing a lot more repairs. Because everything is still everywhere at the moment, as you saw. But I think we're doing all right, all things considered. Sanction says joystick ports are useless. My learned friend, another nail in the coffin of the SD. I don't think CDTV really had that much effect. Although I was reading an interesting article last week as part of my research with Jack Tramwell announcing the big Atari CD-ROM based system that they were going to release. Never heard of it outside of that article before or since. But apparently they were making some noise when the CDTV was being launched. Oh yeah, just don't buy that. Hang on in there. You'll get the Atari CD system soon. And I also learned of a system that I'd never heard of called the, what was it called? The VIS. So I think it was JVC, the JVC VIS, which was also rebranded and sold as a Memorex branded system, which looks very much like the CDTV. It's a set-top box and like the CDI. But that's quite a rare one. I can't find any VISs that have been sold on eBay or anything like that. It did go to retail. Foofly says, was that not a 3DO? No, I think it was its own thing. I think it was its own thing. Yeah, I'll have to look into it more. Maybe one day we'll get hold of one. So, should we take a look at your videos? These are your videos for this month. I should switch you to the laptop. And the first one we're going to watch is Control Reese's video. And he said to me, I have to pause it at a certain point because a decision has to be made by the audience. So he sent us an interactive movie. So we'll watch that. I'm just going to fix the chat because I think you're slightly off the screen there. Where are you? Kill that one. There we go, that's better. So let's knock the music down and see what Reese has got for us.
Excitement. What a wonderful topic. I wonder what passes for excitement these days. Waiting for a delivery to arrive?
Oh, acting skills, Reese.
New content from my favourite creator? Frolicking in the snow. But you know what really excites me? CRTs. But how many do I actually own?
Oh, okay. Place bets now. How many CRTs does Reese own? Place your bets in the chat. That man needs an agent. He really does. Eight, 7, 2, 14. Reese, you're going to have to keep track of these and pick a winner. $42. It's a good number. Time's running out. Have you all got your answers in? Time's up. Let's see what the answer is. He's just showing off now. Oh, they're all in tidy condition as well. Do they all work, Reese? Ooh, he's got his arcade monitor. 17? Who said 17 then, Reese? Who's the winner?
17 wonderful CRTs. How close did you get? Back to Neil in the studio.
How close did you get? So we need Reese to pick a winner. Yeah, the cow box. I've got a cow box. That's one of the gateways that often go up on sale on eBay as new old stock. Reese, you may have an issue. Mark from Mark Fixes Stuff. Are you watching at the moment? My Learned Friend was the winner. Congratulations, my learned friend. Andrew went for 18. I like that. I like that. We'll have to have some more interaction in future. Next up, it's Dave. Mark from Mark is here. Good, Mark. Oh, Mark Fixes Stuff. Mark, I might try and get you to dial in to watch these with me. Dial in. Just bear with me. Pixels at Dawn, if you're watching, thank you for that DM you've just sent me about CDTV video outputs. Yeah, let's see if Mark can join us. So I'm going to just mute that for a second. No, not that. Don't swear, Mark. But do answer.
Swear.
Okay, Mark. Do you want to turn your video on?
Yes.
And I'm going to see if I can add you to the stream. Oh, I need to pop you out.
I've got multiple instances of Neil.
Okay, you are on the stream. You're oddly cropped. Why are you oddly cropped?
Oh, I do not know.
That's me. I'm just going to fix that. Give you more on the left. There we go. There we go. So please welcome Mark from Mark Fixes Stuff to the stream. He's on a feature later. He's on Get in the Bin with us. Can you all hear him okay? Say hello, Mark.
Hello, Mark. What side of this do I mute? That's the question.
You probably want to mute the stream so that you're hearing me in real time.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, how many monitors have you got, Mark? Do you know?
How many monitors have I got? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. About 9.
About 9?
Without properly counting.
I reckon I'm about
Yeah.
9 or 10. I haven't got anywhere near 17, that's for sure. Right,
Yeah,
we're going on
I mean,
to... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, the thing with monitors is you can only really use one at a time, and they take up a lot of
They
space.
take up a huge amount of space, yeah. Everyone in chat is saying hello to you. We're going to watch Dave's video now. Oh, there he is. Beautiful Dave Velociraptor.
He is a beauty.
I'm excited because my retro room is nearly finished. For almost the past 2 years, I've been boring RMC Discord to death about my house move and plans for my retro room. There's been all sorts of problems, but finally the problems are now, I think, all fixed. The plumbing got fixed this week, so I'm very excited that I can now get things sorted out. The wall closed up, shelves put up to wrap around the walls, my box games all up on the shelf, all my retro machines will be set up and working.
I have to say, it's been a real pleasure watching Dave bring this room together because it's gone all the way from, I think, plastering the walls, just a completely empty room, to picking the furniture, buying games that I'm incredibly jealous of, the games that he comes up with on eBay, and then puts them neatly on his shelf and shares pictures on Discord. I hope we're going to get a full shot of the room.
Smart power controls and lights and all the rest of it. So here's a quick whistle-stop tour. Chrissy here. Here's the Mister. It's a Trinitron TV you can see up there. There's a Mister there. Here is the Amstrad. It's a CPC 664. There's a GX 4000 there as well. Here's the Commodore 64. A couple of disk drives there. Nice CRT for it. There's the Gateway monitor, which will go with the Checkmate 500 plus plus. Here's the Atari Mega STE.
Hang on a minute. There was a freeze frame there.
Couple of disk drives there, nice CRT for it. There's the Gateway monitor, which will go with the Checkmate 500 plus plus.
Arcade R. You're a fan of the Arcade R, aren't you, Mark?
Here's the Atari Mega.
Yeah, the arcade is very good. I've got 12 of them.
I've just frozen the screen there for some opinion from the chat. He's got a picture of an Atari on the screen and the words "better than an Amiga by a mile." Any thoughts, Mark?
Well, I think back in the day it depended on what you had. He says, being politically expedient and moving on quickly.
I'm being asked to ban Dave. I don't know. I don't know if we should even watch the rest of the video.
Can't ban Dave. He's one of my Patreons. Keep going. Just pretend it never happened.
Felix says Dave is dead to me.
STE,
I spot the RMC book there. Thank you.
the 14-inch Atari monitor there with it. Here's my modern PC. It's water cooled, you see behind there. There's a 21-inch CRT where all 5 of my PCs will go. So there'll be a 386, there'll be a Pentium MMX, there'll be a Pentium 3.
Let's just pause on some of those games. I know you're telling us about your systems, but just in that shot alone, we've got Cinemaware games. We've got Shadow of the Beast, which will be appearing later on the show. Stunt Car Racer, Ultima games, Baldur's Gate games. I mean, and Damocles. If I had to pick a game, I'd probably take Damocles off the shelf there because I love the Mercenary series of games.
Pentium 4.
Trying to decide what I'd play, to be honest.
Yeah.
Tolkien Trilogy looks good. Planetscape Torment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Here's
no
the
question.
box games, there's a Star Wars
Oh, the Star Wars games.
Dark Side.
Dark Forces. Nice.
games there, some
Nice.
sorted games there. This is less than half my games. There's much more. There's a gold box here at D&D. There's LucasArts
They're all
there.
in really great condition as well,
Yeah.
which is impressive.
All the Psygnosis games there.
Oh,
Psygnosis games, Ultima.
About, I don't know, £600 worth of Ultima games just on that one shelf.
Wing
easily.
Commander, Infocom.
Oh, it's ended. That was it. Hang on, is that how it was supposed to end, Dave? Did we just hit 90 seconds and you killed it? Or
In
did
the
I
last frame there, I did see the 11th Hour, the sequel to The Seventh Guest, which I spent a lot of time on.
Yeah, the video just ends there, Dave. I don't think I've made any mistakes in downloading it. Yes, Dave, he hit 90 seconds. He ended it. He hit the limit. That's it. That's how it should be.
Yeah, well, he left us wanting more as
He
well.
did.
That's the thing.
He did. There's a box copy there of Defender of the Crown. I don't think I've ever seen Defender of the Crown in a box.
I don't think I've ever seen it without a handwritten label.
Yeah. So that's impressive.
That's really nice. Yeah, the 11th Hour for me, though, that's the standout. Because I've got one of the songs, I Can't Take a Breath Without Seeing Mr. Death, constantly stuck in my head from back in the day.
Dave says we missed the last frame.
Oh.
I don't see anything on the last frame, Dave. Is there supposed to be a hidden message? I've just got black. No, I'm not seeing anything. But yeah, wonderful collection. Wonderland there on the shelf. That was a text adventure with some nice art in it as well. Wonderland is a game that my dad pirated via the police station.
Oh, lovely.
Because they all used to share video games, VHS tapes, whatever they could get their hands on.
You can just imagine that call going into Fast, can't you? Yes, I know someone who's copying that floppy. Who is it? Well, you're
everyone
right,
in the police
but...
station. And not only that, it wasn't a cracked version, so you needed the manual. So he photocopied the 400-page manual in the police station.
Using police resources.
And I wonder how many other people did that as well. Anyway.
Oh, dear. I've got some tears now.
The next one, I've forgotten to put the person's name on. It's just a video called Excitement. So we'll get a nice surprise. We'll see who it is.
I hope you haven't copied it from somewhere that you shouldn't be sharing.
It's Derek. It's Derek from Flame Lily. Here we go. He's classically trained.
Evening, everyone. So growing up in Zimbabwe, my brothers and I unfortunately did not have the luxury of the local...
He's not moving for me.
W.H. Smith to pop into and purchase anything computer related. So my excitement comes from a subscription.
Is this Fun with Flags? I think this is Fun with Flags. I haven't got any sound. Oh, I have got sound. Okay. I think it was the only magazine, wasn't it, for the Amstrad?
I'm chatting away there, and I am muted. Yes, I've paused the video. Every month. Every month. I think I deserve... Go on.
Can you share your OBS into Discord?
No, because it will screw up your picture on the OBS screen.
Okay, no worries.
So I'm just going to put myself in the bin.
Oh, just get in the bin.
Let's put Neil in the bin.
Anyway, I was just saying to the chat when I was muted, I had an Amstrad. I was pretty young when I had an Amstrad, but Amstrad Action was the magazine that I got. I probably didn't understand half of what was in there. I tried to do the program listings. I looked at the pretty pictures of the games and went out and copied them in the playground. But I'd love to build up my Amstrad Action collection and go over them all again. And
what magazines were there for the Amstrad then, Neil?
Amstrad Action.
Wasn't
there were the other ones which were multi-format.
Wasn't there one called Amtix from the Newsfield stable? Amtix. From the same people.
I don't remember. I only really remember Amstrad Action was in my local newsagent. Muty McMute Face, that's me.
Muty McMute
Anyway,
Face.
let's watch the rest of this video.
I only got the magazine
Face of an
about
Angel.
2 months after it was released in the UK. But did I care? No chance. I still remember the excitement. Okay, so let's have a badly done reenactment. how this used to go.
Oh yes, waiting for the new magazine. I love that you've turned your camera on, you've gone outside, and you've posted a magazine through your own door. Oh, for RMC.
A few moments later.
I'm sure a lot of us will remember the joys of trying to peel a cover tape off the magazine without ripping it.
That's a magazine that you can quite happily rip. Computer Active. He's not used his Amstrad Action for this demonstration. He took out a copy of Computer Active.
Many times it didn't go well.
Get in the
Still
bin.
trying to not rip it.
The joy and excitement of reading game reviews and articles.
It's so true.
There's Dan from Retro Recollections in the magazine. Bit of Control Alt Reese. I don't remember them being in the magazine.
Finally, the excitement of loading the cover tape.
That's where the name Flame Lily comes from. The flower. Derek is the flower of Zimbabwe. Live, laugh, love. Thank you, Derek. Magazines. I got excited about magazines. I remember, waiting for the next Amiga format to come out. Waiting. Crumbling the week before it came out and buying something like a copy of CU Amiga or The One, or magazines which I didn't enjoy as much, but I just needed another cover disc to play on. I just needed something else to read, you know. What were the bad magazines out there? What was the last magazine that you would buy unless you really had to? I didn't get on with Zero magazine. I wasn't a big fan of Zero. I thought that was a bit.
No, that was again sort of like pandering towards the the more casual crowd. It was trying to straddle a point between Computer Shopper and the sort of the Your Sinclair type.
Yeah, well, a bit crashy, trying to get that kind of crazy, zany reviewers vibe.
We're so wacky.
Yeah.
We're so wacky. Oh, look, an envelope full of cash. What's that? It's not released? Never mind that. Just keep those envelopes coming. What's that? You've mocked up the screenshots? Oh, lovely. That means we don't have to.
Lots of people saying CMVG. I would buy that sometimes. Nintendo Power.
Yeah,
Reese says Amiga format was the worst. No SD content at all. Amiga, one Amiga was skinny and pointless. Yeah, one Amiga was quite a skinny magazine. Horse and Hound, says Mark.
Well,
Gardener's World. It's Gary next. Now, Gary has said to me, he said, I'm really sorry now. I've gone a bit over the 90 seconds. Do you want me to edit it down? And I said, Gary, considering for my birthday, you gave me a Sharp X68000 from your collection, I think we can let it slide. So for any viewers out there who want to know how they're allowed to get a longer video on the show, gift me a Sharp 68000 and you'll get 30 seconds. That's how it works. Seems like a fair trade.
Sam Coupe for me, please.
Sam Coupe. Here we go. It's Gary time.
Hey everyone, cheers for having me. In my teens, I got into reverse engineering software on my Atari ST just to see how they tick or how an effect was coded, and this led to game training. Being able to grant godly abilities such as infinite energy was quite the thrill. I've done my best to squeeze a massive topic into the time available to me, so this will be a fast-paced, quick introduction. Are you ready?
I'm ready for you to squeeze a massive topic in, Gary. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's
The
go.
tools I used most back in the day were MonST2, lots of blank discs, and plenty of pen and paper. These days my life is made a lot easier though by using an emulator. The goal today is to trick a PD game named Entombed into giving us infinite lives.
Oh, we're going to get some hacking. You know, I could quite happily follow the instructions in a magazine to give myself infinite lives, but I couldn't do this. So we're looking at the registers and we're going to hack.
First things first, we're getting Tomb loaded up into MonST2. We're going to make a note of the memory address of where the program starts, as we're going to need that later. In this case, it's 232D4. Let's start the game so we know memory will contain the number of starting lives. We can interrupt the running program by pressing Shift, Alt and Help, which drops us back into MonST2 so we can save that memory. Now, let's get the game running again and lose a life. So the 7 we're interested in will change to a 6. There will be a lot of 7s in the first file, but only so many that change to 6s.
Are you keeping up? 7s and 6s. What game is this, by the way? Was it Entombed? Did I say it was called Entombed? Okay.
Yeah, Entombed.
We need a way to compare these files, so I will quickly knock up a PHP script to do this. I always prefer to create my own tools where possible, as, you know, learning. Activate coding! Okay. Look at this. Lots of 7s as expected, and oh cool. Only one instance of where a 7 changes to a 6. Basically, unless something really unusual is going on, we can be pretty confident that memory location 2A02C is where our lives are stored. So,
okay, so just to be clear here, Gary, you've taken a memory dump before you lost a life, a memory dump after you lost a life, and then you compared the differences to see where it changed. And the beauty of it is you've been able to use modern emulators and PHP scripting to make that really easy. Because it must have taken a long time in the old days to kind of just to get the information out and to be able to compare it and work with it. So that's cool.
Well, on the older machines, like the C64, for example, there were cartridges which would automatically scan for differences.
Okay, I know you could get like the action replays to dump the memory, and the Romantic Robot. Do you remember that on the Amstrad? Great name.
Yes. And a Spectrum, of course.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what happens.
Jumping back over to MonST2, we can now search for this address in memory. First result. We can see that we're setting this memory location to 7. My initial guess would be that this is setting up a new game. Second result. So this is comparing a 1 with the memory location, and if we look down a couple of lines, we can see that 1 is being subtracted from our suspected life location in memory. So let's breakpoint this and set the game running again. If when we die control is returned to us, then we're in the right place. And yep, control was indeed returned. So let's change this to...
Gary is in the Matrix. But by the way, judging by the way that I guess it's an Egyptian sprite character there, your main person. Judging by the way they died, it looked exactly like Rick Dangerous. Is this by the same people? Looks very similar.
Subtract 0. When we run the game again, we can now kill ourselves.
Was Rick Dangerous by Core Design? I'm not sure now.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
And see if we
Someone
lose a
can
life.
tell us in the chat.
Noting the number of
did
lives
Rick
bottom
Dangerous
left, we
and
can
did,
clearly see that
the
this
same people do Entombed.
now doesn't change when we die. Nailed it. I hope this brief introduction to game training was of some interest to you, and if any of you would like to know more about any area of this, then you can grab me on Discord and I will be more than happy to chat. Take care, and I'll see you on the next video.
Put your clothes on, man. That was really cool, Gary. I'm excited watching you do that, and I can hear in your voice how excited you are about hacking old games. So it's great. Gary says it's a public domain game, but the author was a Rick Dangerous fan. So I wouldn't be surprised if they based some of their sprites on, a sprite set from Rick Dangerous just to make their life a bit easier. It was the way the character kind of waved its arms when he died. It was very Rick Dangerous.
Yeah, sort of popped up in the air and then fell down again like a cartoon character.
Yeah.
That was excellent. That would do really well on YouTube, that video.
Yeah, for sure. Without the 90-second confinements, you could really, flesh that out even more, Gary.
And the end nudity. I feel it could do without the end nudity.
I don't know. That could be on the thumbnail, couldn't it?
That could be the selling point, the unique selling point. Go, Gary.
Naked hacking.
Naked hacking. In the buff.
Next up, we got Mark Devlin. Let's see what Mark's got.
Yay, Dev.
Hi everyone. So for my entry for excitement, it definitely comes back to my first big box Amiga game, and this was back in the day when I had my Cartoon Classics back. My brother had got a copy of The Secret of Monkey Island, which was just an amazing game, and then shortly after that the sequel was released, and here it is. This is my copy of The Secret of Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge, for CBM Amiga 500 Plus, which is the one I had. So
quite a lot of discs, as I recall, a lot more than the first one.
Even
Absolute
the box
stacks.
alone is fantastic. The artwork, I just absolutely loved it, and the game was unbelievable. I don't think I left my room for like a month until I completed it. At the time, I had a friend who had an account with Special Reserve, and I gave him the money and he got it for me and brought it into school, and I carried it around in my bag all day in case someone would stand in my school bag and squash it. So yeah, absolutely love it. Unfortunately my Amiga doesn't run anymore, but thankfully due to things like Scum VM, we can still enjoy great games like this if it work. And yeah,
still an incredibly playable game.
I
Oh,
really
absolutely.
love
The
Monkey
cartoon
Island,
style
and I
doesn't
love
really
having the
age, does
box,
it?
And it was my first and best box game. Much better than this one.
Oh, what a stinker. Yeah, definitely a good first box game to start on. Jamie says grog. Pixel says he plays like a cow. 13 discs, 16 discs. Beneath a Steel Sky had 15 discs. Yeah, I had Beneath a Steel Sky on the Amiga. So yeah, I remember that pain.
I remember the discs on Beneath a Steel Sky with real pain, because that's when I worked in the factory which actually made all the discs for Beneath the Steel Sky and put them into the boxes.
Was that the CDs? Because you worked in a
no,
factory that
floppy
made
discs
CDs.
as
Was it the
well.
floppy discs. Okay.
Floppy discs as well. 5 1/4, 3.5 inch, and CDs a little bit later on.
Okay, because they did Beneath the Steel Sky on the CD32, which of course
they did.
Was good. It was good, but there was a lot of seek time every time it wanted to play a voice clip. So it kind of paid
I actually have that here on the original CD32 disc, but I must confess that I've never played it, because every time I see the logo, I'm just reminded of long shifts stuffing into boxes. There's a remake, isn't there, of Beneath the Steel Sky or Beyond the Steel Sky?
It's a sequel.
A sequel, yeah.
No, Dave, we're not going to try and do your Monkey Island accent. Not today. My Learned Friend is next. Let's see what he's got.
This is Turrican 2, a
quite
game
high
which
for
will be
this.
so familiar to all of you. But this video isn't about that game per se, though it is undoubtedly, unquestionably, an exciting and excellent game. The visuals are exciting, the Chris Hulsbeck soundtrack is arguably best on the Amiga, and the gameplay is just solid. No, This is about waiting, hoping, and the fulfillment of expectation. I'd become completely enamoured with the Turrican 2 demo. I'd waited till the day that it came out, and I remember racing home from school, grabbing some birthday money, grabbing a friend, running down the road to the marvellous and now long since departed Diamond Computers.
Oh, here we go. I'll just freeze it here. This is where the computer game shop used to be. It's sad, isn't it? I can remember where all the video game shops used to be in my town. And every time I drive past them, it's like, it's... One of them was a massive video shop / computer game shop that is now split up, and it's a barber shop, a Chinese takeaway, and a vet's. And it's like, that used to be the place of dreams, that whole building. And now
my one was at the end of my road, and it was quite literally called Reader's Dream, and it was a bookshop, a comic book shop, and they also sold games for the, at that time it was the Master System and all the 8-bit computers. So that was pretty amazing time.
Yeah.
On Gloucester Road in Bristol, and parting with, if memory serves, $17.99 to get the first copy off the shelf. The box is now in my hands, and it wasn't going anywhere other than home with me.
If Mad Pete's still watching, he'll be enjoying this.
Now the box is just that, but it's a representation of what's about to come. And there's an indescribable quality of having something
very
you
excited.
wanted, something you longed for, something you'd looked forward to, finally being this physical thing in your hands. And it's that instant, that memory, that moment of excitement, which is my submission to the topic. But that was game purchasing back in 1991. As brilliant as the system may be, hitting buy game on Steam doesn't exactly have the same feel of excitement to go with
It's true,
it.
it's true.
And with that, back to Neil in the studio.
Thank you. Yeah, buying a game on Steam, it doesn't have the same feel, does it? It
really doesn't.
Yeah. There's
It's
a lot
like watching a movie on Netflix.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for effort and reward, I think, for sure. And disappointment. Gamers have to go through that disappointment of spending their week's pocket money on a terrible game. Right, who's next? It's Naoki. Let's see what Naoki's got on the topic of excitement. Oh, and also my learned friend was talking about how enamored he was with the demo of Turrican 2. Do you even get game demos anymore? It's quite a rare thing, isn't it? Now
You do get them sometimes on downloadable games or previews sometimes.
Yeah, but not like you used to.
No. They were almost as good as getting a new game sometimes.
Yeah, trying to think of some of the demos I got hooked on back in the day. It's a bit later, but one game I played to death as a demo was the original Battlefield 1942. It was It was Wake Island. You could play it multiplayer online, so you pretty much got the full game experience. It was just that you were limited to one map, and it was a hell of a map. It was one of the best maps in the game, so I played that over and over.
I quite liked the Cannon Fodder demo. That was a good one, and I like the way that they tweaked it a little bit, so it wasn't the same as the game. And you have the Christmas Cannon Fodder, and then going back a little bit further, some stuff that people might remember when Dizzy was king, as it were. You'd sometimes get things like Dizzy 3.5 on Sinclair User or the Spectrum magazines of the day, and they would be entirely different short games that didn't exist anywhere but on those tapes.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is amazing.
So it was like a mini Dizzy adventure. You still had the whole lock and key mechanic, find something, get through the door, rescue someone.
I mean, they obviously had some kind of construction toolkit, and what they'd do is they'd make a small, maybe 2 or 3 screen version. At the end, it'd say such and such is out, this date, go and buy it from your local software shop. Really clever.
That's kind of fun. And a Dizzy game that I might actually be able to complete. Okay, let's see what Naoki's got for us.
Let's go, Naoki.
Cast your mind back to 2008. The dollar falls against the yen, and the Nintendo Wii is finally back in stock. It's also in big name ensemble cast Elijah Wood, Christina Ricci, Mark Hamill, and Gary Oldman, and many others were brought back to bring the finale to the grandest of series. The game starts off directly after the previous entry, by shifting to a radically different art style of greater realism compared to the cel-shaded graphics of the previous 2 games.
I must point out that Spyro is one of the 2 games that Ms. RMC likes to play. Spyro and Tomb Raider. Those are her retro gaming memories.
Both Spyro and Cinder are now adolescent. Being trapped in crystal neither killed them or hindered the growth, despite having no food, water or cryogenics, and the University of Cambridge is still looking into how this was possible. They are chained together at their necks for a sacrifice, because this will never be a hindrance to the players. The Knuckles Chaotix gameplay worked as well as trying to use androids in Apple's ecosystem. At best it can work, but it's often clunky and just a nuisance.
Take a breath, Naoki.
Remember waiting ages for the game to be released? Being an existing fan of the Spyro series, news of the new Spyro game led me to the Dark Spyro fan site where I could learn all new things related to the series as a whole. Was it worth the wait? No.
What an anticlimax. Was it worth the wait? No.
The whole series had a lukewarm to bad reputation, and Dismay of the Dragon was no different. Short and repetitive gameplay, a story that was passable,
superb.
and despite all best efforts of the cast, the cutscenes were just emotionally flat, and the saddest part of the series left me laughing at the first perceivable emotion. And what on earth were they thinking when they changed Mark Hamill's voiceover?
But I assure you, there have been many.
But why am I saying this here? Well, it was Dark Spyro that stuck with me more than Downfall of the Dragon. It heightened my interest in dragons, story...
Oh, okay, so we've got an old forum page. Naoki was Cinder_fan. And there's also a dark_cinder and robotic kitty.
Writing, I found new friends who shared similar interests. One such friend
those
eventually came to be my
innocent days of the
now
web.
partner, and it all started with Spyro. And in all fairness, it's not the best, but it's far from being the worst. Dawn of the relationship certainly defined my interest and left me with an ending far better than players got. Oh god, no.
We're off Naoki's wild ride of Spyro. Good job, Naoki.
Blimey.
I think you win the award this week for squeezing the most information into 90 seconds. Maybe we should watch it at half speed. Get all those facts in. I'm going to go back and watch that again later. So much to process, Naoki. I didn't know that about Mark Hamill, though. It's a bit like, what's his name? The Green Cross Code Man being edited out of Star Wars. Mark Hamill was edited out of Spyro.
Well, I don't know if he was edited out. I think the thing is that Mark Hamill was paid to be Mark Hamill, and then they went and put so many voice effects on him that I could have done it.
Yeah, yeah. It could have been anyone.
Or my 12-year-old daughter could have done it, and you know. No.
Zero Punctuation, yes. Haven't watched Zero Punctuation for a long time.
I think
is he still
Naoki's very much like one of those data blasts that we used to get at the end of programs in the 80s.
Yeah.
Where
Set your video to record now.
And then just play it really slowly. And it's actually a half an hour documentary on Spyro.
Right, Paul J next. Let's see what Paul's got.
Come on, Paul.
Hello, Paul. Oh, lovely frack t-shirt. I like it.
And this month's theme is excitement. Well, that's a pretty broad brush to paint with, and I thought long and hard about it. Ultimately, I went with stamp collecting. No, wait, don't leave. Last year in the UK, the Royal Mail released a set of stamps celebrating the history of video games over here in Blighty. Yeah, sure, a couple of classics are clearly missing. Jet Set Willy should have been in there for sure.
Agreed.
But like any good collector, I snapped them up, and that should have been the end of it. But then, one night while I was perusing eBay, wondering what I could smuggle into the house without earning another night in the shed, I discovered other video game stamps from other countries.
Ooh, this is interesting because I did buy, well, Ms. RMC bought me the stamps, the video game stamps. So there are video game stamps from other countries. I did not know this.
And so this is what I currently have in my collection. First up, this from the USA celebrating the early years of video games, with a couple of kids enjoying their video games console that's not entirely unlike Atari, and a couple of cool envelope designs too to go with it. On to Ireland next, and a couple of these bad boys showing Sonic and Space Invaders.
I've never heard stamps described as bad boys. Look at these bad boys.
And again, another really cool envelope design. And continuing on with our journey around the world in 80 stamps, we have these from France, showing a good collection of video game mascots, including Mario, Pac-Man and Rayman.
Nice. They're nicely done.
And then next, which was a surprise to me, were these from Israel, showing some nondescript games that are clearly being influenced by games of the early 8-bit era. And finally for today we come on to Japan and naturally Nintendo stamps. Now there are two lots of stamps that I know of, one of the more common sets which are the ones that I do own, and then a slightly older set from 2007 that I have yet to purchase. Oh look, there's one on eBay now. That'll earn me a night sleeping in the car.
$147 for a set of stamps. Wow.
Oh.
Again, I'm sure there's a whole bunch more that I don't know about yet, but I'm going to keep hunting because that's part of the excitement.
That is exciting. I didn't know anything about them. Reese in the chat says, I never thought I'd get excited about stamps. Yeah. Paul says, me neither.
They're nice, but where would I put them?
Cool. I'm surprised the French ones didn't have a few more sort of infograms games, a few more games from France. Pillock is next. Expect Scotch eggs.
They
Hello,
never expect the Scotch eggs.
And welcome to my presentation on excitement.
I'm excited already.
I'd like to start by playing you a sound and seeing what emotions that generates.
That last bit is the bit that I'd always listen to, and I could tell if it was going to connect or not. You just knew, didn't you? Or if you could tell if it was going to connect at a really bad speed, and you would have to disconnect. You just knew.
Good.
That's right. That's the sound of a modem negotiating. And in my case, it was this Eurus Robotics Sportster V34 modem, bought brand new for the princely sum of £234. So why was this so exciting? Well, first of all, it gave me access to bulletin board systems, to break out from the little town I grew up in and talk to people all over the world. But not long after that came the entire internet, with a connection through Demon Internet, which then brought me the graphical World Wide Web.
Yeah, I was on demon.net. That was probably my first email address outside of whatever I set up at school, was a demon.net email address. In fact, I don't think we even set them up at school. No. Can you remember what your first ISP was?
My first ISP was Pipex UUNet.
Okay.
It brought me software at my fingertips, and also just the community, just being able to chat with people, some of whom I still call some of my closest friends. And yes, that is me at a user group meeting in 1995, age 16.
You haven't changed a bit, Pillock.
But I think the most powerful thing that the internet has brought me, the reason it's so exciting, is it gives me the ability to go online, find people who are wrong, and correct them.
Isn't that what it's all about?
Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Back to you, Neil.
Neil, say something relevant. Well, I mean, isn't that the whole premise of the internet? Going online and telling people they're wrong. This is where you all tell me in chat that I'm wrong. Very good, Pillock. We've got 3 more. We're ready for Rich's wild ride.
Oof.
Let's see what he's got for us.
Come on then, Rich. We're ready.
Oh, hello.
What are you... He's in my cave.
Chrissy here. Yes, exciting things.
That's pretty convincing.
Hoffman album. That was really exciting.
It is.
Ignoring the obvious excitement of a Patreon notification, a bit of video has dropped on Thursday. My excitement this past year has been ordering some cherished memory from my childhood, the anticipation of waiting for its arrival. That knock on the door, the opening and hoping that it's arrived intact.
What? How did that fit in?
And then hopefully turning it on. That doorway into limitless possibilities. This is one of my childhood machines that brought me so much joy. This is my exciting moment. Be it typing the command to load Barbarian, or maybe the classic Gauntlet. You no doubt have a beloved system. Enjoy them in whatever form you wish or can. Relive those exciting memories, be it enjoying a game using emulation or recreation, or on original hardware. Maybe the exciting time is tinkering, trying out different graphics cards, getting to listen to that sound card you'd wished you'd owned back in the day. But perhaps the most exciting thing for this year will be seeing what Neil does with all this. That's going to be pretty awesome.
Oh, thank you, Rich. I didn't want to pause or talk over that because I think you're really capturing something that we all do, you know. It really does recreate those old memories about, we were talking about the effort of going to a shop and the disappointment if you got a bad game. And we kind of recreate that with the purchases we make on eBay now. That's the closest we can really get to it, isn't it? And the disappointment if that retro computer turns up smashed to bits via Yodel, you know.
Oh, your Hermes. Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, a lot of it is the things I couldn't have when I was young. So it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Although these days stuff's getting so much more expensive that it's stuff I can't have when I'm old as well.
Yeah, yeah. I must say a big shout out to Ashens, who I've just seen is in the chat there. Very kind of you to pop in. So nice to see you.
He's been dropping a few zingers as well.
Has he? I missed that. But yeah, really nicely done video, Rich. And I think it really does capture exactly what this whole hobby is about. Really nice. Right, we've got the Brian next. Let's see what... Not just Brian, it's the Brian.
the Brian.
Hey, Brian here. You know, I'm just thinking about the excitement of video games.
Never mind the excitement of video games. Look at the excitement of the snow behind him. That is coming down hard.
A lot of it comes before you actually even play the game itself. I'm just thinking back to the 90s when I walked into game and actually saw on the shelf that game I've been reading about in magazines or seeing on TV for so long, realising that I actually had enough money to buy it and bring it home. The joy of paying that money and being handed this box and knowing this is mine, this is my copy.
Yes, this follows on nicely from Rich, actually. This is the excitement.
And that excitement, it just built as I went home from the shop, whether sitting in the car beside my dad as he drove me home, or even better, sitting on the train, which allowed you to just open the whole thing up to check out the manual, the read manual from cover to cover in the train home. Heck, we even look at the registration card. Look at if it actually hold the CD in your hand, or even play around with the free sample for CompuServe. And by the time you actually got home, the excitement was just palpable. And then, of course, it was switch on the computer, install it, make sure you've got the right sound card set up, try to figure out how the CD audio works. Finally, hit play, full motion video comes in, Worms music hits. Wow, I mean, all that before you play a single game. But to me, the actual most excitement I've ever got from video games, and I think it's probably the same for you too, is that moment when, under the Christmas tree, you get to see your first console.
It's not exactly how I pictured under the Christmas tree, but we'll go with it.
Nintendo! 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 Nintendo!
That's some excitement right there. That's what we're talking about. Thank you, the Brian.
Craig.
I didn't get a Nintendo under the tree. I got an Amstrad CPC, but it was all set up on the table. That thing wouldn't fit under the tree.
No, it was the tree.
Nintendo. The last one is Tim Wright. Let's see what Tim's got for us. I see Tim's in the chat.
Come on, Tim.
Greetings, cave dwellers. Please note before this video starts that this video has absolutely nothing to do with Excitebike. For the young version of me, back in the 1980s, the definition of excitement was going to the video rental shop on a Saturday morning, £2 of pocket money in hand, to check out the wall of Mastertronic goodness.
I had exactly the same thing. My video shop had a wall of Mastertronic games. And then later, was it the Power Play games, which were the disc games for the Amiga, which were in just the worst, tiniest plastic packaging that you cut your hands to shreds trying to open. Yeah. The video shop was where it was at. Getting a sneaky glance at the adult section as you were looking at the back of the video game boxes. I didn't do that ever. I didn't do that.
Buying my first ever game.
Rifle range.
Poring over the shelves in the hope of hitting the jackpot. With nothing to go on but the great cover art and the description inside the inlay. And then skipping home, eager to load up the gem I'd just bought. I don't talk about this one. Flash forward to 1993 after the demise of the Spectrum, and greater excitement was to be had. A new microcomputer under the Christmas tree. After only ever having a Spectrum, it was time to branch out to Team Commodore.
Yes.
To the other side.
Do it.
A new and exciting adventure in computing.
Join the dark side.
A whole new world to explore.
Oh,
and that's how I got a Commodore 64. I have no regrets. None. I arrived just in time for this. It was like Christmas 1984 all over again. Maximum excitement. Back to you in the Super Deluxe new studio.
Maximum excitement, yes. Well, you know what? Even if you got a Commodore 64 late, it wasn't a bad machine to have. Yes, I would have been a bit disappointed if I couldn't have had an Amiga and I got a Commodore 64, but there was still plenty of fun to be had.
Oh, absolutely. Great game.
It's not like you were given a Spectrum.
Now.
In fact, it was an upgrade, wasn't it? He was upgrading from his Spectrum.
Now.
No, he was. He was in the video. And the fart someone mentioned, that was in the video. That was not me. Just so you know.
Well, I suppose he did get a disk drive with it, so it was an upgrade, but, we'll leave it at that.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for your videos this month. Let's bring the music back up.
They were fabulous, weren't they?
They were really good. There we go. A little bit of music. Yeah, great videos. We'll have to set the topic for next month. Any suggestions in the chat for next month's topic? Do let me know. My learned friend in his email when he submitted his video, I think it was my learned friend, said, please, 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 can you make it point and click adventure games? So that's in the short list of options. But yeah, great videos, and you all did a great job of capturing excitement. What do you think, Mark? I was excited.
Actually, some of them were genuinely touching.
Yeah,
and it's difficult to actually reach that far back into your personal feelings and bring something forward like that. And it's nice to hear it from other people.
I think also for those of us, which is pretty much everyone in the chat, who spends a lot of time thinking about retro and a lot of time collecting, when we all started out, you did still have like everything was exciting. Everything that you went back to revisit was exciting. And the more the more you do it, the harder it is to keep capturing that excitement, I can still do it, but it's not quite the same, is it? It's a different excitement.
I think you're right. And for me, it used to be, I used to have this, and now it's bringing back this lovely nostalgia. And then it was like, I never had this. Oh, this is what I missed. And now it's, oh my God, I've got a pile of 15 machines that I haven't even turned on yet.
Yeah. And actually, I think a lot of what I do now, it doesn't feel like nostalgia anymore. It's like, okay,
real life.
Here's that old machine. Not because I do it as a job, because it doesn't feel any different when I, play with these old machines. It's more, this doesn't feel nostalgic. This just feels like a journey of discovery into what this old machine can do. Let's find out more about it.
Yeah, sure.
But then if I want the nostalgia hit, I fire up the Amstrad, I fire up the Amiga, and I can still get it very easily,
I fire up the digital punch card machine from the 1800s.
Now, I was very lucky to have a chat with Trip Hawkins last week. Big old 2-hour interview, which I need to edit down, but I also managed to put some of your questions, the official Cave Dwellers questions, to him, and we're going to listen to his answers now. And I wasn't able to get him to answer all of yours, as you'll hear at the start of this video. We were running out of time. We were really short of time. So, and also some of the questions you asked are answered in the main interview. So if you don't hear your question, they may well turn up in the main interview. Don't worry. Here we go. Let's turn off the music. And Mark, I think I will just hide your beautiful face while we watch this video.
Good idea.
And we'll come back to you for Get in the Bin.
Yeah, I'm going to get myself in the bin.
Yeah, speak to you in a bit.
Bye.
Okay, let's see what Trip's got for us.
I'm okay, but we're actually running quite a bit later than I thought we would. So
I do apologize. Okay, we'll run through these really quickly then. Okay, so Paul Jacobson asks, what was your favorite childhood toy and do you still have it?
It would be Stratomatic Baseball, and I'm still playing Stratomatic, but I buy a new edition of the baseball cards every year. And I have some very old cards. I think the oldest cards I still own are probably from the 1970s.
Wow. Are they particularly collectible? Do they have great value? Those oldest ones?
I have no idea.
No idea. You just like to play with them. Greg, I mean, that was kind of a silly question on my part, because do you think Trip Hawkins ever stops to think, I should be careful with these particular baseball cards because they might have some value and I need some money. I don't think he needs the money. O'Connell asks, if someone suggested you should reverse engineer a system so that you could get a better license deal in today's modern world, would you attempt it?
You know, it's always worth looking at, but everything is so much more technically advanced, it would be that much more difficult to figure out the details of how it works. And the important thing is to have really, really great legal advice on all the details, because you've got to really, it's like crossing a minefield. You pretty much have to know where all the mines are and know how to tiptoe around them. And you've just got to make sure that you know you've got people that are disciplined enough to do it correctly.
Yeah, the question about reverse engineering comes about because EA famously reverse engineered the Sega Mega Drive so that they could avoid a licensing agreement and all the fees that went with it through Sega, and they just could have full creative freedom. There's a lot more information about that in the full interview, but that's why we're talking about reverse engineering. Great. Santa Claus asks, I'd love to know what you think about EA's reputation, which they sometimes have, of buying game studios and sadly killing them off. Studios, he says, such as Westwood, Bullfrog, Origin Systems, or Maxis. Is that fair? What do you think of that reputation?
Well, I don't think we had that reputation when I was running the company. Mm-hmm. What happened is that once I left, the guy that I promoted to lead the business, he wasn't really a creative guy, wasn't really a strategic guy, and didn't have the kind of personality that would be really that engaging with the developers. And basically, they shifted their focus towards the sausage factory, and the turning the crank and pumping out the next version of FIFA, and getting more exclusive licenses. And they did a really awesome job operating that sausage factory, but kind of lost touch with the creative side. And once you've got a really big, successful operating business and you're public, every quarter you've got to report your numbers, and you have to answer a bunch of really tough questions about why you earned what you did and not a little bit more, et cetera. And so there's a real preoccupation about delivering the bacon. And what that means is that you end up leaning towards putting your best people on the biggest business that you have, instead of having them work on what's the next business that's going to matter in the future. And so then you make an acquisition because you need to try to catch up with this new area. And those people come in, and you might give them a certain amount of independence, but you're not likely to take one of their most important people and let them run the company. And they're going to pretty quickly figure out that the status and the power is the legacy company running the legacy business model with the legacy products. And then a lot of that top creative talent, they're just not that empowered, and it's not that much fun for them. And so they end up leaving. Mm-hmm. So they're under contract for a period of time. And, I've heard these stories throughout the years. I mean, it happened over and over. And I think it's still a challenge for the legacy companies. You look at Activision, for example, they bought King many years ago, but the two companies are still not really properly integrated together. And, these big companies, they don't put enough effort into mobile. And so more of the advancements in mobile come out of Asia and come out of innovative startups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he answered it quite fully. But there is a reason why I leave the patron questions till the end of the interview, because it's not always comfortable asking someone like Trip Hawkins, you've got a bad reputation. Why is that? So I'd rather he hung up after the main interview than before it. And you guys did put some tricky questions to me. Anyway, yeah, there's lots of straight talking in the main interview, Mark. Let's see what else he's got to say. Also, he used the words sausage factory, sausage, and bacon. So I think there may be some clips here for future live stream pop-ups. Try not to look inside the sausage factory. Never look inside the sausage factory. Oz Retrocomp asks, if there was one thing you could change about the 3DO so it had a better chance of enduring commercial success, what would you change?
I think it goes back to what I said earlier. It's just the timing of the launch. Ideally, it could have launched at the same time, but with developers having another year earlier of time with development kits, to refine and improve the really great software. But given that doesn't sound really very feasible unless you have a magic wand, it maybe would have worked better to just delay the launch by 6 months or 9 months and hit the ground running with better games and more enthusiasm and a lower hardware price point.
There's a lot of 3DO chat in the main interview because I find it really interesting, why he came up with the idea. Because in the mid-70s, as far back as 1975, he identified the home video game market, and he explains why and how he identified that and why he set a year of 1982 as being the year he thought it would take off. Not the video game market in general, the video game market on home micros. And he absolutely nailed it. Despite the North American video game crash affecting the consoles, he nailed it on the home micro side of things. So it was interesting to hear, having done that, why he had this vision of the 3DO, why he thought that would be successful, when he thought it would be successful. And he goes into that a lot in the main interview. Despite it being a failure, it did have a bit of a legacy and some lessons to teach other console makers in the longer term. Mm-hmm. Darren Watson asks, I think you did answer this earlier. He asks what was the first game you played, and that was the game on the PDP. Roy Griffiths asks, he says, I've often wished to thank Mr. Hawkins for his signature series, his policy of naming the programmer on the product. Thank you for that. He said, I would ask, this is quite a broad question, if there was one piece of advice he could offer based on his experience, what would it be?
What advice would I give to people in general or
in
developers?
general, it can be business, it can be personal, just one piece of advice.
The essential thing that we all have to do is figure out who we are. And the layers of identity are very tricky and complicated. At the very bottom, you have your genetic backgrounds and things that you're inheriting that make you unique and special. And then you also have your instincts, which are going to get triggered kind of automatically. You're not going to really be in your conscious mind when you're triggered by your instincts. And then you have these other layers of identity on top of that have to do with your family, ways in which you might have elements of neurosis. No offense, we all have some of that. The culture that you grew up in, and then the things you've learned in school, and the things that the life experiences that you've had. So all of those things contribute. And you've got to try to figure out at a deeper level who you are more quickly. A lot of us have midlife crises when we're in our 40s because we really just didn't understand this when we made all those really important life decisions when we were younger. And that includes things like marrying the wrong people and choosing the wrong career and just really fundamentally misunderstanding something that's really important about ourselves. So that's what I always try to do in helping people is I try to help younger people understand what I just said. I give them some tips and pointers on how to go work on it and how to gain some more insight and to become more conscious. That includes learning tools that help with your emotional intelligence. And then, basically helping, from my experience, helping understand the right and wrong ways of doing things because I've done it all.
Yeah, it's a deep answer, isn't it? And, it was a very open question that could have resulted in business advice because we talked a lot about business in the interview, so we might have just leaned into that. A whimsical answer, but no, it really does go into a really deep and meaningful answer, and it's a good one. It's a good one. The man understands himself very well. Jim Leonard, your question about the record album packaging is answered in the longer format interview, so you'll hear that. Dave Compton says, I'd be interested to know if aside from the Creative Labs 3DO blaster, were any other unusual implementations of the reference 3DO system ever made or any that didn't make it to market?
Yeah, Toshiba had a license, and they had some interesting plans. Right now I'm spacing on specifically what they were thinking about doing. But, they were a big industrial company. They were in a lot of different markets. and they were also a consumer electronics appliance manufacturer, but nothing from them ever actually came out.
Sure. So there we go. We nearly had something from Toshiba on the 3DO. Hello, Tosh. Got a Toshiba. Has anyone out there got one of the 3DO Blaster cards? I remember the 3DO Blaster card was in Game, the video game store here in the UK, in the bargain buckets. Tons of them. And I wish I bought one now. Of course I do. But it was a failing system back then. Why would I have bought one? But I think they were sub £100 in the bargain bins. But yeah, interesting to know what Toshiba might have come out with. Tim Wright says, might have peaked early with the tea breaks this year. Well, it's certainly going to be a chapter in the next book, for sure. Mark Pierre, I believe your question about game developers' names appearing and disappearing from boxes was answered in the long format. Gareth says, I'd love to know why EA did not continue after a while with the creative packages. They changed the industry with Deluxe Paint, Music Construction Set, Deluxe Video. They were radical and groundbreaking. Why did they come to a stop?
Yeah, I think I talked about that a bit earlier, but clearly it had to go to a box because you were getting spined out. And I think I certainly felt kind of disappointed that we couldn't make the artist more famous and have people looking for the artist as opposed to looking for the game.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't really answer the question. I don't know if he misunderstood me here, because the question was, why did you stop producing things like Deluxe Paint and the Music Construction Set and things like that? But he goes on to talk about packaging. I'm not sure where the wires got crossed.
It became obvious as the industry got more competitive that you really had to hit people hard with compelling reasons why they would love the game. And so the information on the package had to be more about the game. And I'm going to have to just limit us to one more question.
One more question. Okay. Okay. Final question then from Dave Velociraptor. He says, in Richard Garriott's Ultima series, there were some amusing Easter eggs painting EA and Trip as the bad guys. There was even a pirate Hawkins in Ultima 6. How do you feel about these references at the time and looking back now?
I think it's all humorous. There was a character named Pert Snickwa. That's my name spelled backwards. And Richard Garriott is one of the more amusing personalities in the history of the game industry. Good old Lord British. And it's unfortunate that he and his brother they were kind of grumpy with me because once we had a distribution deal, we got into a dispute about it where I just wanted them to honor the contract and they wanted to get out of it. And we had the rights to launch Ultima 4, and they were trying to go elsewhere. And it just kind of stuck in their craw. And they seem to think that I'm to blame personally for enforcing the contract. It actually wasn't me. It was a guy named Randy who ran the affiliated label program. But I certainly believed it was fair for us to enforce the contract. But basically, those guys have kind of had a chip on their shoulder ever since, which is disappointing. I'm sure they care less about it now than they did, particularly after they sold the whole company to EA.
Yes,
I think they have been over it.
Wonderful, Trip. Thank you so much for your time. You've been so generous today. I will let you get on, and thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Happy gaming, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There we go. A little bit of Trip Hawkins for you there. The main interview is so much longer, and I saw someone say ouch when he said only one more question. To be fair to him, he had been so generous. I had taken up about 2 hours of his time. The expectation was set that it would be under 2 hours, so we were overrunning. And the man's a busy man, so I'm very pleased with what we got out of him, and happy that we got to answer some of those questions. I hope, Dave, that was a good answer for you. And it's kind of nice. I had to ask that question from Dave, having interviewed Richard Garriott. It's nice to tie up the two sides of the story. Maybe in editing, I'll dig back into Richard Garriott's answer when he talked a bit about EA and tie the two together or something. Or if not, then it's well worth keeping in the archives for future episodes. So there we go. Yeah, lots more to come. Lots more to come. And if you like that kind of thing, of course, let's switch back here. Let's bring our music back. Why is the countdown clock playing? I should have played that for Trip. You've got 30 seconds. There we go. If you like that kind of thing, of course, there is the RMC Retro Tea Breaks book available at rmcretro.store. All of my favourite interviews so far compiled into a lovely book. And Trip will definitely be a chapter in the next book, which we'll be working on. Neil Peston, which we'll be working on this year. If I was Neil Peston, my question asking would be much more convoluted and circuitous. I try to get to the point as quickly as I can when I ask a question. Okay, what we're going to do next is we are going to play a round of Get in the Bin. I do need to take a very quick comfort break, so now is the chance to charge your glasses, 3 minutes or so, and then we'll come back and we'll carry on the stream, and we'll give you a bit more Turkish delight in the meantime. See you shortly, everyone.
Turkish delight, full of Eastern promise.
Turkish delight. I do. A lot of people don't like Turkish delight. I mean Fry's Turkish delight, the type with the chocolate on it and the purple wrapper. But I like it. A lot of people say, oh, Turkish delight, that's disgusting. How can you eat that? It's like eating perfume. It's like eating old woman's perfume. Like lavender water or rose water or whatever it is. How can you like that? I like it. I like Turkish delight. I don't like it enough to get it every day or every week. In fact, I can't remember the last time I got a Turkish delight. But every now and then, I'll be in a shop and I'll walk past the shelves of all the chocolate and I'll see a Turkish delight and I'll get it. It's nice. I like it. I like Turkish delight.
Sing it with me. Am I allowed to end the song, or are you all into this? Can we move on? No, they're still singing. You want me to sing along? I don't know if there's another verse. No, there's not. I'm not singing without Limmy. Well, if you enjoyed that, it's Limmy. You can go and look him up. Limmy's Turkish Delight Techno Remix. Do not ruin this, Neil. I promise I'll play it for you when we have the first cave party here. Where's my normal music gone? I'm getting confused tonight. Where is everything? Where is my music? There it is. Okay, we're going to play some Get in the Bin, which means I need to dial up the people who will be getting in the bin with me. Let's start the call. No swearing, please, chaps. If they're going to answer. Are you there? We've got one. Hello.
Bonjour.
We've got two. Right, let me just pop you out so you appear on the screen.
Oh, you naughty boy.
There they are. You are on the stream. May the rock be with you.
Can you hear me?
I can. I just need to crop your video because there's a lot.
It's uncropped it again.
It's uncropped it again, yeah. Everyone say hello to Dean and Mark, and say hello, Dean and Mark, and we'll check your audio levels are good.
Hello to Dean and Mark.
Good.
Saint Banter. Good.
And it's good night from me, and it's good night from him.
Dean, of course, thanks, Mean Machine Dean. Mark fixes stuff. Both
I'm
YouTubers.
not so mean.
Not as mean. And
hello, everybody in the chat.
Also, Dean you're very active on Twitch. Mark, not so much on Twitch.
I'm meant to be. It's just other things get in the way, to be fair. Yeah, I will be again. I've been setting up my streaming stuff for many, many weeks, but other things get in the way. You know how it is.
I do. I know that feeling all too well.
I'm just going to switch to the laptop. Make sure you still exist on the laptop. Yeah, there you are. You're there. We're good to go. So, get in the bin. Hang on. Where's the slogan?
Oh, just get in the bin.
There it is. Get in the bin. Basically, here's what's going to happen, and this needs some audience participation, and there will be a poll. Each of us has picked an item, a retro item. It can be a game, it can be a piece of hardware, it can be anything. It doesn't even have to be retro. We're going to make our case for putting it in the bin. The other two are going to argue to save it. If they want to, they might want to put it in the bin as well. And you in the chat, we need your opinions. Do you want it to go in the bin? The sound clip is rather quiet. Thank you, Mumbo. I will try and turn it up for you. Dean, you're too quiet. It's saying get in the bin.
Am I? Oh, I can say it louder if you want. I can do it live.
You can do it live, yeah, because I can't.
Oh, get in the bin.
There we go.
That was set with some serious conviction behind it as well. It just reminded me of some horrible trauma games of what I'd played previously. So.
David says it's like Room 101. Well, never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
What?
Get in the bin. Is it an Amiga, says Reese. Oh, no, that's not Reese. It's Costado. Sorry, I just assumed that it would be Reese wanting to put an Amiga in the bin. I think we should probably start with Mark. what we're going to do is I'm going to put a tweet out once he's told us what it is that he wants to put in the bin. And twitter.com/RMC retro. That's where the poll will appear, so you can tell us if it should go in the bin. So, Mark, what do you want to put in the bin?
Well, I don't think anybody's going to believe this, but I want to put in the bin something that probably many people hold dear to their hearts. And that thing is Lemmings.
Ooh, specifically on the Master System or all Lemmings?
Just all Lemmings. All Lemmings, because I've got to tell you that I think Lemmings is one of the most boring games ever invented. And, you know, the reason that I say that is rooted in their visceral like feelings in my heart, because I used to go round my friend's house after school and I had a Commodore 64 and he had an Amiga, and I wanted to play Barbarian and I wanted to play the flight simulators and I wanted to play the shoot 'em ups, and all he ever wanted to do was play Lemmings. And, you know, I've got a deep-seated like trigger reaction whenever I see these little green-haired Watsits. You know, my gaming experience is about to be ruined, completely ruined. And I've got to say, who puts small furry creatures into a tank where they're going to die just so you can save them to bolster your hero complex?
There is a lot of death. There is a lot of death. I'm just gonna grab my Lemmings box from behind me. Bear with me, because I've seen it's on the shelf there.
Lemmings, they don't even really jump off of cliffs. Disney cameramen threw them off of cliffs just to make compelling video. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you should vote. Vote for what I say is the correct, right thing to do. And put Lemmings in the bin.
Well, I've got to say, first of all, it's immediately obvious that the box on the Amiga version is way better than that Master System, that horrible Master System box.
Agreed.
Well, this one was free.
And my memories of Lemmings are, I never owned a boxed copy. Of course I didn't until now. I can't remember if I played a demo or if I got the full version straight off, but I was hooked on it from the start because it was a new type of gameplay. It was a sandbox gameplay with, you know, puzzle solving elements in the same vein as the Incredible Machine was a bit later when I played that on the PC. I don't know if that came earlier or later, but I enjoyed it in the same way. It was a really good puzzler. Should it go in the bin? I think it also deserves to be noted that it probably sold a lot of Amigas. Came out first on the Amiga, didn't it? It was very good for the platform.
I'm not sure that that's going to convince half of your audience.
Dean, what do you have to say on the matter?
Oh, here we go. This is where I'm going to try and sit on the fence, but have an angle going to one way. So I rolling the clock back a bit. I remember being back at primary school and we had Acorn computers. Yes.
Yeah.
We were that lucky to have Acorn computers, and as my family were quite tech savvy, I would then be made to look after said computers because I basically was the only one with half a brain who knew how to operate it. Which, the only game that we had to run at school on that computer was Lemmings.
Was that on? That was on an Acorn Archimedes, was it?
Correct.
It was a good version on the Archimedes.
It was a decent version. I'm just watching it on the live stream now. But I mean, the thing is as soon as I hear it, I get a massive nostalgia hit. Now, that being said, I feel like there have been too many ports of that game, and as such, it has actually made it worse with each port that has happened. Thus being why Mark held up his wonderful copy, which is also one that I would definitely go and set fire to, and then put it in the bin.
Oh, well, we're seeing on the screen at the moment the Amstrad CPC version, which is
my God,
looking a bit chunky, and now it's gone onto the Game Gear, which doesn't look too bad. Anyway, carry on.
But yeah, I seem to think that if Lemmings was only on, I guess, computer-based formats or home computer formats, I think it would have been perfectly acceptable. The problem is as I said, the more it was ported, the worse it got. And based on that, I probably would put it in the bin and not miss it.
Well, the Twitter sphere is currently sitting at 63 votes. 27% say get in the bin. 73% say, oh no, save the lemmings. So it's currently on the side of save the lemmings. I think the first version that people think of when you talk about it is the Amiga version. What have we got on there? Is that a NES version on the screen there now from 1992?
Oh my goodness.
I think it does require a mouse.
That's the other thing. It's like trying to play a game like that on a pad. It's just, I mean, it spoils the whole experience, right? Like, it's, I mean, you know, looking at the screen right now, the lemmings are not exactly large. So to try and maneuver a cursor using a control pad and then accurately click each lemming whilst it's moving, that alone would make me want to take the cartridge out and snap it. So, yes, it should be mouse only. Is that the one? I'm going to have to play that on stream just so I can say get in the bin again.
Let's see what the chat's saying then. Joe's Doe says 2-player Lemmings was a lot of fun. It really was on if you were playing on a system with 2 mice, a lot of fun. What else? David says I can't imagine playing it without a mouse. No. Game Boy version was also Game Boy version. Ouch.
No. It was a Game Boy version?
Savage thought that was a good idea.
Arcade Ren says, which version is the definitive version of Lemmings?
The one that's in the bin.
I would go with the Amiga one. I think Neil would probably lean towards that.
Well, Amiga, but the Archimedes one is pretty good. There's a lot of really good games ported to the Archimedes that were first on the Amiga. A lot of Bitmap Brothers games, as well as Lemmings. Pixels says it's between the Amiga and the Windows 95 version of the game for the best version. 21% now bin, says Ben. DOS version forever, says Tim. So
bin. Please Twitter, please bin.
So in the chat, I mean, it seems to be pretty positive. There's agreement that the non-mouse versions are pretty bad, but let's get the final verdict from Twitter. I'm afraid it's only going one way. We're up to 79.1% on Save the Lemmings, 20.9% get in the bin. It's not going to happen for you, Mark.
On my first outing on getting the bin as well. I just feel like Twitter's let me down, and that's why I'm abandoning the platform from tomorrow.
We'll give him another 30 seconds. We'll bring up the countdown clock.
Here we go.
It's gone to 80%.
Oh, dear.
95 votes.
Oi.
Twitter hates me.
I just hope Mike Daly from DMA Design doesn't turn up and pass comment. Why are you trying to put my game in the bin?
Well, luckily he only knows where you live.
You're showing off my game. It's really bad. Oh, cheers, mate.
Dean, we haven't thought this far. What's the catchphrase for something that doesn't go in the bin? Back on the shelf?
Back on the shelf? I don't really say that. You have to think about it.
Okay,
maybe if it doesn't go in the bin, we have to play it on Twitch, or we have to use it publicly or something.
I hope something goes in the bin tonight. I hope something goes in the bin. We've ended up 81.4 to save it, 18.6 get in the bin. So whatever the catchphrase is, please say it now, Dean.
To put it on the shelf.
Said with such conviction. Put it on the shelf.
Put it on the shelf.
Sorry, Mark. Lemmings is not going in the bin. Right.
Okay. Sorry, Lemmings. I love you, really.
Right, I'm going to go up next. I'm going to present to you what I think should go in the bin. I need to prepare my Twitter question. And while I do that, I'm going to play you a piece of video which represents what I'm going to be talking about. We need to go to the laptop. We need to stop the music.
This is definitely going to be worth it, I can tell already.
Let's go for advert number 1. We've got a selection. This is what I want to put in the bin.
Here we go.
It's that moment where science leads to performance. As world leaders in gaming and pioneers of ergonomics, we've joined forces to redefine the gaming chair. Combining decades of research and design specifically to advance the way you play. encouraging balanced movement, designed to support your body's mechanics. Fully customizable to your spine's alignment.
Hang on, have I got to defend this?
Creating dynamic support. And cooling your body. Positioning you to perform. Perfect your staging. Optimize your vantage. Master your setup. Play advanced.
Well, that's what I want to put in the bin. It's the gaming chair. And, we've got the countdown clock already. Do we only need 30 seconds to make our mind up?
Possibly.
I'm going to put the link to the poll in the chat. There is the link. And let me just make my case a little bit more. We'll get the music up. Oh, thank you, Namco's, for the £5. Have you been watching Slopes Kick Scammers? Oh. I try not to miss Slopes. Yeah, so the gaming chair. Let me explain to you why I think the gaming chair should go in the bin. Because on the face of it, you know, who doesn't like a nice chair? We'll go over to the laptop, and I want to show you some examples of gaming chairs. Okay. Let's just minimize that. So we'll just start with a picture of a typical bedroom from the late 80s, early 90s. And that's kind of typical of my setup. The smallest desk in the world in an era when we had the biggest monitors in the world, big old CRT monitors, although the girl in this picture does seem to have quite a slim line. That's like a cassette player, radio, TV all in one. That's quite a unit. She's got a ZX
she has
Spectrum.
Excellent taste in music as well.
What's she got there? What have you seen?
David Bowie poster.
Oh, up there, yes, yeah. We've also got a picture of Charles and Diana on the wall there.
Minus 3 points for that.
The ZX Spectrum at a jaunty angle. Anyway, it's not about that. It's about the furniture. I had a desk very much like that, and the chair. Now, I've been a gamer all my life, which means all of my chairs have been gaming chairs. And I think
that's true.
Is a gaming chair. Let's look at some more examples. I mean, if you were on a budget, you might have been a bit uncomfortable, you know, something like this, but grab a cushion, put it on there. That's a gaming chair. If you had a bit more money, maybe a mid-range chair. That's a gaming chair. Again, maybe a cushion on there, but that to me is a gaming chair. Now, it might be that your dad worked at an office, in which case you might have been a bit more upmarket, and you got your classic stolen office chair. That would have been a premium gaming chair to me, if you had something like that. I should have really... I'll tell you something. I tried to recreate one of the gaming chair adverts for this section using my fold-up chair. And in the process of trying to film it, I broke the chair.
Good job, Neil. Good job.
The Frank Spencer of retro.
So there's no advert from me. I'll try and edit the footage up so you can see me breaking the chair. And then, you know, if you're really posh as well, I mean, look at this kid. Look how smug this kid is. That is your pro gamer of the 90s. That might
it would be if it wasn't an N64.
Yeah. might even be you,
blind
Mark. Is that you, Mark?
It's not me, mate. No, but he had electricity and feet. I was too poor for electricity and feet.
And then of course, you know, what also counted as a gaming chair to me was if you had player 2, if you had a mate round, the edge of the bed, the corner of the bed, you pull the bed up a bit closer, they sit on the end of the bed. That's a gamer chair. Or the ultimate gamer chairs, you go and steal them from the dining room table. Yep. Two player game there, 2-player setup, ready to go. So
how did you get a picture of my chairs?
So, you know, when you compare it to, I don't know, let's put another advert on. Something like this.
Oh,
I
God.
just don't think it's needed. Who needs this? That's my case. Are you for or against? Let's go to Mark.
Right, thank you, Neil, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The prosecution says that gaming chairs should go in the bin, but I would argue that his entire line of questioning has been that he never had a good chair when he was small. we all know that jealousy is a terrible motivator. So he probably hates Apple Macs and iPhones as well.
Sorry, the chat have also just pointed out that this gamer chair advert has a 4D armrest. It takes you back in time.
So that's because it takes you back in time to a time when your backside wasn't so tired. Gamer chairs can stay. And the reason gamer chairs can stay, Neil, is because they're not for you.
Really? I mean, if there are any gamer chair companies out there that want to offer me a gamer chair, yeah, I reserve the right to change my tune. Prove me wrong, gamer chair companies.
I think all gamer chair companies are absolutely amazing at my address, which is this one.
Dean, what do you have to say on the matter? And what are you sitting on right now, Dean? There's a question.
I'm sitting on a deck chair at the moment.
Really?
It's really comfortable. Yeah, it's a really great deck chair. Right. So, I totally understand you for hating these pompous adverts who are like, if you sit on this, it'll be a sitting like sitting on the moon. You have zero gravity. You can float and you can get all of the kills that you require in your really crappy game. But here's the thing, right? With all the versions of the chairs you show, that's on you. Right? That's on you, Neil. Right? You can't blame anyone else for that. Right? You can take all them chairs and put them in the bin, right? And get yourself a proper chair. But I totally agree that you see, I feel like this needs to be split into two. See? I think gaming chairs should stay, but the really rubbish adverts need to go. Because I don't need to be told.
I've just paused another one for you there on the screen.
I'm watching it and I'm like, yeah, okay, I get the point. I get like you need comfort and you need lumbar support and the armrests go up and down. We get it. We all sit down for a long time. We all got bad backs. I don't need a bloody Hollywood budget on an advert to tell me, hey, did you know if you sit like this, your spine's going to be really great? No, I don't need that. Look at that width adjustment. Yeah, cool. Just say it. Don't like it's a transformer. What's wrong with you?
It does make you a ninja. It makes you a ninja spy.
It's got cooling gel.
It's got cooling gel in the arms.
Wonderful.
Do you know what cooling gel? Do you know what cooling gel I had with my old gaming chair? A funky feet lolly when the ice cream man came round. That was my cooling gel. And a window. I opened the window.
Bag of peas, mate. Do you know what? That's one thing I've never understood. Where it's like, oh, your chair can recline. Have you ever tried to lay properly in a reclining chair, a desk chair like that? A, you feel like you're about to fall over, and B, if you're in office and you do that, someone's going to call you out on it. Why? Why does it exist?
Controller Reese, thank you very much for the £2, and he says, "Get in the bin." So Dean, to conclude, are you for or against the gaming chair?
This is hard. Well, do you know what? I'm going to say against because I know of normal office chairs that are ergonomically designed that are perfectly fine. I know it sounds hypocritical considering I'm sitting on a gaming chair right now, but we'll look over that. But yes, gaming chairs can get in the bin because there are perfectly normal ergonomic office chairs that do exactly the same thing.
Oh, interesting. I didn't think you were going to go that way. Mark, your final choice?
I'm going to say don't throw them in the bin just because I'm a very contrary person.
Well, we've got 98 votes over on Twitter. 90.4% say get in the bin. 9.6% say gaming chairs are leet.
Leet. I'm definitely going against the public opinion tonight.
On the screen there is from the Argos catalogue. You know, that's all you need. You need the roll top desk. You need the, I think that chair actually, that £58.99 chair has 4D armrests. Looking at it there.
It does.
And then you've also got the ones that you kneel down on. I think we've all bought one of those at one point and gone, yeah, I'm going to sort my posture out. I'm going to get one of those Neely chairs. And it lasts for a day. And you go back to slumping on the dining room chair.
You just feel like those things where you stick your legs in, they're like a Z. You just feel like you're kneeling down for a medieval execution, don't you? Some dude's going to come up with an axe.
Mumbo wants to know how much Sega Rally is. He saw it on the page there. £19.75. I think that's the PC version. Yeah, that's the PC version. There you go.
You was robbed.
Gaming. I haven't got a gaming chair here, so Dean, you've got one, so I think it's on you now to put your chair in the bin.
I mean, I can. I have no objection to that.
Can we just have a shout? Get in the bin.
What? Get in the bin. But that being said, like this chair isn't one of these. How can I describe it? Over the top advertised. Like it's a very basic gaming chair, right? It does its job. It hasn't got bells and switches and a USB port so you can bang out
trying to
really
convince
awful
himself.
track. I'm not trying. All right, fine, I am.
He's trying to justify his
yeah,
purchasing decisions.
It's fine. It is fine. It's fine.
He thinks the gamer doth protest too much.
Yeah. Maybe I should just stop. Yeah. Fine, I'll set fire to it outside later.
Good. Okay, let me prepare the tweet for the final question. We'll see if it goes in the bin or not. Yeah, ended up over 90%. I think you know the chat. I'm assuming that all those votes are coming from the people in the live chat because there's not really shouting "get in the bin" in the live chat. They're just laughing at 4D armrests.
Probably just
4D armrests are wonderful.
So let me prepare the final poll.
Could we make
There's nobody else in the house, Reese.
Could we make a 5D one?
A 5D gaming chair.
Yeah, it goes back in time and then brings you back again.
Exactly. So it's a DeLorean chair. Right, I'm tweeting them now.
Yeah.
Guys, I've got a marketing idea. I've got a great idea. Can't vote no Twitter. Oh, Jamal, that sounds a bit. But at least you can shout "get in the bin" really loud in chat. Like I do. Well, I just shout it, but I do it. It's on brand though, Dean. It is on brand, but we can burn it. It's perfectly fine, brother. Herman Miller Aeron, greatest chair in the world.
I don't know what that is.
I was going to say that's a new name for me, but then again, I'm very uncultured, so it's probably some very elegant chair. But I'm sure it's amazing. It also concerns me that people are trying to set off my audio in your chat, Neil. It's like I can hear them in my head.
So, Dean, would you like to state your case and what it is that you want to put in the bin today?
Your Honor, today I'm going to bring you a game that I think really sucks.
Cool, it's like in the heat of the night, isn't it?
I know. I will now stop that. So, in 1989, there was a game that was sold on the Commodore Amiga. Yes, one of my favourite home computers of all time. That game, ladies and gentlemen, was a game called Shadow of the Beast. Some of you may know it, some of you may not. This is my reason why not only should it be put in the bin, but it should have a lot of lighter fuel poured on it, set fired, and then put into another larger bin.
Savage.
The game is the equivalent of what Cyberpunk is to modern gaming. The demo that came out was luxurious. It explained about as many sprites can appear on the screen, and a wonderful storyline, and the best soundtrack, which I will agree is amazing. We'll look past that. And everybody said, "Oh, I've not seen anything like this on a home computer before. This is amazing." Superb, in fact. And I remember people went out and bought it within 10 minutes when this isn't what I was expecting. Here are reasons why the game sucks. Hitboxes are a myth. If you miss an enemy with your pathetic punch by even a smidgen of a pixel, you will die. If you run the wrong way at the start of the game, you will die. You get hit by the most random of sprites because the game just appears with random enemies that makes zero sense to the story. However, the soundtrack on it is one of the best. And in fact, the artwork that was done by an artist who I believe did quite a few different rock albums. So on that basis, they put a lot of money and effort into the soundtrack and clearly the artwork and some of the technical marvels. So here's the thing. As a technical explanation or a tech demo, it is wonderful. However, as an actual game, not only does it need to be put in the bin, it needs to be set fired to, put into another bin, sent to Elon Musk so that he can launch it out to space and send it to Mars. So that if anyone does get to Mars, they get to experience also how bad this chronically awful game is. One last point. It was also ported to many other different consoles. And there are a couple of versions that I will say are... Yes, that's probably one of them, actually. That are playable. However, there is a distinct one that I believe was made for the Sinclair. And to say that it's bad, understatement. So on that basis, I will now present to you my case and pass the floor over to my fellow esteemed colleagues.
Well, I'm happy to step
Either
up
agree
first.
or disagree.
Yeah, so I'm just seeing the Atari ST version on the screen here, and I didn't realise quite how bad it was, to be honest. It's not looking good. Are you basing this on the Amiga version or all versions then?
Every single version, Neil. I want to get a very, like, when it comes to Bonfire Night, hopefully, the things that are going on in the world with, the pandemic go away, and I can collect every single version that exists, have a big bonfire. It would be lovely. And just Shadow of the Beast lit up in the sky.
There it is on the Mega Drive there. Now, Shadow of the Beast, if we just start with the Amiga, it's a bit like Lemmings in the fact that it would have sold a lot of machines. It was a great technical demo to have on in the window of a video game shop. It was pretty good to have on a cover disc and tease people with. I agree there wasn't a huge amount of depth to the gameplay, and it's rock hard. It is rock hard.
Yes.
It gets better in the sequels, but
Yes.
it is hard. I've played a few versions. The one version that I find quite interesting is the PC Engine version on the PC Engine CD-ROM, because when I did the interview with Mike Daly, who did the port, it was Mike Daly, I think. He did the port of Shadow of the Beast to the PC Engine. He talked about how NEC, or whoever it was that was in control of allowing this to happen, wanted the game to be so much different to the Amiga version. They wanted everything changed in it so that their system would stand out as being something different. And actually, while it looks like the same game, it plays a lot better. It's a lot easier to hit things. It's not as brutal. It's not as savage. So the PC Engine CD-ROM version is kind of nice. It's got some nice CD music. It's got some fun cutscenes. So I would encourage you to have a play on that one if you haven't already, just, before you demand it goes in the bin.
The fact that Nintendo had the cheek to put Super in front of it.
Super Shadow of the Beast.
It's shameful. It's even better. It's not.
This is really hard. Do I want it to go in the bin? You've got the Alistair Brimble music. You've got the Roger Dean artwork you mentioned on the cover. You got the T-shirt. It came with a T-shirt if you got that nice big box edition.
So you can start a fire. Yeah, that's
If you got the
yeah.
packing edition with the Amiga bundle, it came in what was like a cassette tape holder. Which was pitiful. Give me the proper box, please. You got to have a big box version of a Psygnosis game. Do I want it to go in the bin?
Okay, let me add some extra fuel to this, Neil, so I think will allow you to make your decision. When you start the game, you're playing as a character, right? And you are being told in the game that you must walk around and punch things. If somehow you manage to get progressively further into the game, you suddenly have a jetpack, you have a gun, and the whole, I'm a beast and I'm really hard goes out the window because suddenly you're floating around on a jetpack with a gun. Huh? How does that make sense? There's no logic. Because again, tech demo, yes. Game, or
Yeah, but that parallax scrolling, dude. That parallax scrolling.
Doesn't make the game.
I will
doesn't
make a
the gameplay
decision.
any better.
I will make a decision, but I'm going to ask Mark to help me with. I want to hear what his opinion is. Where do we sit, Mark?
Oh, it's very easy in hindsight to say put things in the bin, but I think we have to remember that this was the sort of the burgeoning days of the 16-bit era, and yeah, you can say it was a tech demo, but that's probably the experience that people had with that machine. It was to literally throw all of the tricks they had into a bucket, give it a stir, and go, cool, blimey, that's lovely looking, that is. And then release it. And then afterwards, people go, yeah, but where's the story? And why can't I punch things? And why am I keeping on dying? Well, you've got to remember the 8-bits. My goodness, we had awful games. Awful games. So, I think it's maybe a product of its time. I don't think it was particularly bad when framed with the stuff that was around it at the time. But that being said, it's boring as hell.
Yes.
It's really dull. And Shadow of the Beast on the Master System is equally dull, to be honest. Another one that somebody kindly donated to the channel. But
that's on the screen now, the Master System version. Yeah.
It's the same thing. Although the punching isn't as bad as the Amiga version. Do I want to put it in the bin? See, my problem is that you can't rewrite gaming history. If you put this in the bin, then where do you stop? Where do you stop?
I'm happy to let this go in the bin. There are better games that came before and after it with lesser graphics that had better gameplay.
Yeah, but did those better games learn from Shadow of the Beast or how to be better?
Okay.
Yeah,
You've made your cases. You've made your cases. Mark Central, thank you very much for the $20. He says in the fire bin.
The fire bin.
Okay, I do. Oh my god, this is an Atari 2600 version on the screen now.
Really?
Or it might be another.
That must be new.
It might have been a later Atari console, but yeah.
It wasn't 26.
That's not the 26. There's more detail in the pixels than a 26 in handle there. But
52, I think, maybe. I'm not sure.
Wow, that's an interesting one. But okay, I do a deal. Can I keep the later version, Shadow of the Beast 2, for the game over music, Shadow of the Beast 3, because it was just quite a lot more playable, the third one. Can I keep those games?
No.
The whole series. The whole series has got to go in the bin.
Yeah.
I have no objection with that. Bin it all.
It's all got to go. Everything must go, baby.
Let's check the polls then. Let's give us the final countdown.
Please let this happen.
We'll put it on this screen.
Very good.
30 seconds then. Oh, it's close. It's close. The polls are 57.9, 42.1. So pretty much 58, 42.
Oh, the magic numbers again.
76 votes. So get your votes in.
Mr. Daly's weighing in. He's saying it should go in the bin. It wasn't a great game and nothing learned from it. There were better 8-bit games.
Did he?
Was Lemmings one of those games?
Yeah, well,
here we go.
I mean, this is the first time we've done this get in the bin thing, and I don't think actually I have the final say. I think the poll has to have the final say. And the poll says get in the bin 60.6% to 39.4%. Shadow of the Beast. Let's hear it, Dean.
Get in the bin.
Get in the bin.
Yes. Do you know how happy I am to hear that? Oh.
So there we go. That was get in the bin. I hope you enjoyed it.
Goes to show how much of a gauge I have of public opinion.
So what did we end up with in the bin then? Gaming chairs and Shadow of the Beast in the bin. Lemmings saved back on the shelf.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I think that's pretty fair.
I'm happy with that. I'm happy.
I can't argue. And for clarity, I don't really hate Lemmings.
Tim Wright says you've got to tie the lid down and sellotape it into the bin.
Well, I don't know about it being a regular slot, but maybe it's something Neil can look at in the future.
Indeed.
I can feel the hatred is aging me.
I'll wait for the call from the gaming chair companies. Expect a review of gaming chairs next week on the channel.
Yeah.
I'm half expecting that email to be like, "Hey Neil, we noticed that
Yeah.
you were very unconvinced by the current chairs that you are currently using. We have a 4D ergonomic, two-sided, double-headed, cooled comfort with air conditioning chair."
I don't want to know what a double-headed chair is. But,
with built-in fire extinguisher and snack dispenser.
Well, chaps, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you very much for playing Get in the Bin. And hope maybe we can do it again someday. We'll see. If the people demand it, then maybe we will. We'll see what they say. But thank you very much, chaps. I'm going to hang up. See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Get in the bin.
Get in the
Good
bin. Thank you to those guys. We'll just wrap it up today then with a few last bits. What I should be able to do is bring up the old webcam. Oh, that's the wrong one. There we go. Oh, there we go. We're just going to look at a few bits that I've been... Well, we have got one unboxing, one thing I received today. This came in the post from Chrissy. It's a canvas of Chrissy and Gary appeared unexpectedly in the post. It was a really nice surprise and a nice thing to open. So thank you guys. Chrissy and Gary. We'll put them up on the wall somewhere, along with the picture of Amiga Bill that we got in the unboxing. There we go. Cave Dweller Gallery. It was a thoughtful gift. Yeah, nice. The other thing that I bought myself, which I backed on Indiegogo a long time ago, and it turned up, was the Demo Scene Amiga Years. I don't know if you've seen this. A book celebrating 1984 to 1993 of the Amiga demo scene. And it's just one of those nice coffee table books that are just where you can smell the ink. It's just full of all of those great captures from the demos. Oh, I'm getting wafts of lovely, lovely ink right now. Let's get that cable out the way. It's available still for sale. I haven't got a link, I'm afraid, but I'm sure you can find it quite easily. Let's go to some of the later ones. So we've got demos from people like Fairlight. Of course, you've got the Spaceballs ones, all the famous ones in there. And then lots of demos that I've not heard of. So it makes me want to go and look them up and play them on my Amiga and listen to them. Yeah, really nice book. Matted Smith. Red Sector demos. All the way back to the very first ones in 1984. In fact, you've even got the Juggler there. 1986. So you go, that's Demo Scene, the Amiga Years from edition64k.com. That's where you can pick it up. Pixels at Dawn says, my copy is in the post. Great. And then, as always, we'll end with a magazine. And this month, it's a magazine whose cover I did notice. Didn't you use this on the Retro Hour last week, Ravi? I think you did. Urban Shakedown wrote a hit record using just their Amiga. Find out how your machine can make you rich and famous too. Arcade Ren, is there a book like that with demo scene from the C64 era? I don't know, but check out edition64k.com and they might have one there. I'm not sure. So this is from August 1992, this particular Amiga format, and I put some post-its in a couple of things because there's one thing that I mentioned on the This Week in Retro podcast this week, which was the Amiga 2200, a little known Amiga 2200 computer. It was ready for production. If you listen to the This Week in Retro podcast, you'll hear us talk all about it. And just by coincidence, I came across this story in this magazine. It says, Amiga 2000 replacement could feature new multimedia chip. It says, rumours circulating for months about a new Amiga have just had a new twist. Atari, whose 16-bit 512K ST was for a long time a close competitor to the Amiga 500, are releasing their own machine which is believed to have a very close specification to the new machine. I don't know if they're talking about the Falcon there or what they're talking about. The two might compete very strongly in terms of price and features, and from what we have heard from other sources, it even seems likely that both will include a brand new multimedia chip. The chip is the Motorola DSP 56001 and is a digital signal processor. We've heard that two new Amigas are likely to be called the A800 and the A2200, and will feature a brand new version of the custom chipset, giving the Amiga a stunning new graphics and sound specification. If only. If only. Goes on to say the strongest rumours suggest a graphics chip that will provide an 8-bit plain 256 colour display from a 16-bit 65,536 colour palette compatible with the PC Super VGA standard. The ability to mimic PC standards would seem to be a priority with the latest Workbench release containing a licensed version of Cross-DOS. Other rumours are that the A800 will include a new high-density disk drive, and it will have a 68020 or 68030 CPU. At the moment, all this is speculation, but Commodore US have promised we have plans to introduce a number of new Amiga models this year. Well, of course, the 2200 never came to be, although it was ready for manufacture, but it never had any of those things. It didn't have a DSP, although having spoken and read interviews from Dave Haney, such a device did exist. They did do one with a DSP on, but then it was all stripped back for the 4000. So it wasn't beyond the realms of possibility that we might have got that, but yeah, it never happened. Other stories here, another one that was interesting because I'm working on the CDTV at the moment was CDTV finally becomes an Amiga, and that's just talking about the CDTV when it came out in 91 was the Commodore CDTV, so the Commodore Dynamic Total Vision, stupid name, and they refused to put Amiga on the box, on the system itself. They just wanted to hide the fact it was an Amiga because they wanted it to be a set-top box that people wouldn't think of as a computer. And then they buckled in 92. They started putting the Amiga name on it. I think by that point it was already a done deal. We knew the CDTV wasn't going anywhere. What else have I... Just pop that down for a minute. In the charts this month, Epic is at number 1. From DID. Secret of Monkey Island 2. So this must have been the month that... I can't remember who did the video on Monkey Island. Who did the video on Monkey Island? It was the Brian, wasn't it? It was the Brian. Must have been around about then that he spent £37.99 on Monkey Island 2. Sensible Soccer, Jaguar XJ220, striker John Barnes European Football, which scored 42%. The Manager, Project X, Formula 1 Grand Prix, and John Madden's American Football. I mean, that is not a bad chart. Monkey Island, Sensi, Jaguar XJ220, Project X, F1 GP, and John Madden. John Madden was pretty decent on the Amiga. I know everyone thinks of it as a Sega Mega Drive game. Monkey Island, yeah. And that great Jaguar XJ220 music. If you want to go shopping, you can go to Calculus Computer Store. In all of these places, they've got a lot of stores. And you got the full range in 92. CDTV Games Pack, £399. Amiga 600. CDTV with a keyboard, £1,500. Oh, the Bodega Bay pack. That was a case much like the Checkmate, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure that you put the 500 into. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. You've got the 500 in an aftermarket case, with the wedge memory or hard drive on the side as well. Crazy little unit. 3000T. The trusty old 500 still for sale at £299. The A570 CD drive was £399. I didn't know it was that much. You can buy a CD TV for cheaper than you can buy the A570 CD drive. Why would you buy that? Hang on. Oh, it's the same price. Okay. CD TV, £399 with a games pack. Add-on CD-ROM drive, same price. The Bodega Bay was an external add-on. Yeah, I can see that pillock now that I look at it, because you've still got the 500 keyboard sticking out the front. So it kind of sits on top of it, doesn't it, and expands it. Where did we get to? The Amiga 500 with built-in numeric keypad. What? That's the end of calculus computing. But I mean, that was an era when all of the Amigas were available. You could buy pretty much everything. And then the last thing that made me giggle on this magazine, if you thought survival games were a new era of gaming, check this out. The Survival Game. This interactive program could save the lives of yourself, your family, and your friends. Our huge 12-disc program includes hundreds of illustrations, animations, and sounds written, compiled, and drawn by ex-Special Services personnel. Super Army soldiers. It can happen to you. Fear and intimidation can come to anyone, anywhere in the world. Would you really know how to protect yourself? Do you really have the expertise, or are you fooling yourself? Would you make the obvious mistakes, like everyone else? Could you cope if innocently caught up in these situations? Burning buildings, terrorist activity, sexual deviancy, encountering burglars and con men, storms and hurricanes, car crashes, riots and bar brawls, air, land and sea disasters, encountering savage dogs. Good night, my learned friend. Our comprehensive program will give you the knowledge to survive these and many more situations in ways that you would never get from a book. Our programs include on-screen animated self-defense course, rescue from personal dangers and facing up to disasters, first aid and natural medication, acquiring food, water, fire and shelter, interactive emergency communications, and survival psychology. There you go. Increase your survival capabilities now. You may never get another chance. Checks and postal orders, £29.95 plus £2.50 postage. We've got to get hold of a copy of this. I mean, there's got we need this for a future live stream. We need to find the survival game and learn how to cook bacon, it looks like, and build an igloo. And then I did notice above it, finally, an advert from Psygnosis. Looking for experienced and competent computer artists and animators to work full-time with their already established games design teams. Hungry for more talent? Contact Jeff at Psygnosis Limited. All of that from August 1992. Let's close the webcam. There we go. It's 8:30. We've really run over. We were about half an hour longer than we normally are, even without unboxings. So thank you so much to everyone for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you so much to everyone for your video contributions. Excitement was really good. Does it tell you how to get out of the bin? I hope so. Pixels at Dawn. I hope so. And yeah, we'll have to come up with another idea for next month's videos. I liked the excitement one because it gave you a bit more freedom to just come up with all sorts of things rather than just driving games, flying games. So I think we'll keep it loose like that next time. Yeah. Is it possible for you to attach a webcam to your shoulder so we can never stop watching? Once I get everything moved over in this setup, I'll get some permanently fixed web cameras up in the beams. And every now and then I can just hit go live and we can chat while I'm working away. Yeah, we'll try and do something like that. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Mumbo. Pom Pom Party stream coming up. We should probably... thank you to Mark Fixes Stuff and Mean Machine Dean. Of course, look them up on Twitch and on YouTube. Give them a follow. Great guys. And we should probably now end with one of our RMC hugs. It's nice to raid someone, isn't it? So any suggestions in the chat? Is anyone streaming right now who you'd like to give the RMC hug to? Twitch or YouTube? I'll have a quick look on YouTube because that's easier for everyone. Someone called Patch the Retro Gamer is streaming Toe Jam and Earl. And he's got 7 viewers. I've never seen Patch the Retro Gamer. I have no idea what they're like. Let's have a little look. They haven't got a webcam. It's nice when you can see them, isn't it? It's nice when you can see who you're hugging. Who are we going to hug? Were there any suggestions there in the chat? I'll head over to Twitch, see if any of my regulars are streaming. Not the dashboard, thank you, Twitch. Who have we got streaming then? I can see an Amiga streamer. Who's that? Oh, do you know what? Nostalgia Nerd streaming with 19 viewers watching playing Tex Murphy. Should we go and raid Nostalgia Nerd? Let's do it. Let's go and give a big old hug from RMC to Nostalgia Nerd. There is a link. Go on in there and shout RMC raid. He'll love it. And I'll see you in there. And he's playing a Tex Murphy game. We love the Tex Murphy games. So I will see you in there. Thank you, everyone. Good night. Thank you for watching. See you over on Twitch. And goodbye. Get in the bin.